Good afternoon, YouTubers. This is the ShallowCross Sports Network. We're bringing you another show. It's been a few days since I was on the air, since the holidays, Christmas and New Year. But for everyone out there, Happy New Year, and I hope you had a Merry Christmas. There's a lot of things going on. This is basically a Tennessee show, and with that said, we're gonna get right into it and look at what's going on with Tennessee. Tennessee had a total of at least 15 players go into the portal over this past cycle, and they had one player flirting with going in, which would have made 16, and that was wide receiver Mike Matthews. And it was just announced today that Mike Matthews decided, after a bunch of deliberation with Coach Heupel and the wide receivers coach, Coach Pope, and offensive coordinator, and the Spirit Sports folks, that it was basically about money, if I'm not mistaken. And in addition to that, it was probably the way he was being used, and how he thought he was progressing in his career. So he made the decision to come back, and that's what's going on with Mike Matthews. And like I said, Mike Matthews, he's a five-star player, and he's a big-time player for Tennessee, and so he's going to be able to give that wide receiver room that's depleted some more help. And I think he's probably inked in as a starter. But I'm glad to see him come back. And Tennessee is actually in the running for some other players. They're looking at the Branch twins out of USC, who are also in the portal. One of the Branch, Zachariah Branch, is a wide receiver, and his twin brother, is a safety, and they're both good players. Zachariah was rated as a 5-star out of high school, and his brother was rated as a 4-star. And then some more tidbits on them. They're the great nephews of Hall of Famer and legendary wide receiver for the old Oakland Raiders, Cliff Branch. So just a little tidbit about those two players. Right now they're visiting a lot of schools, but the On3 folks, Nikos, is saying that he thinks that they're coming in for a visit with Tennessee. It's a lot of people in the background working to get those individuals in here for this visit. Nico and Ilamav and his father, and as well as Drew McCoy and his father, are working that deal, trying to help get those guys out there, out to Knoxville. And of course, in addition to that, Amari Jefferson, who was recruited by Tennessee out of Chattanooga, he's in the portal, and On3 has given him a prediction to the Tennessee Vols. He's a wide receiver also, and so we'll see what happens with him. And then also they're looking to get a visit in from a wide receiver named Malik Benson out of Florida State. They're looking to get him in for a visit also. He's a target. And then it's another big defensive tackle out of Washington State. His name is, I think, David Gusta. He's a defensive tackle, and he'll have 1 year eligibility. They're looking to get him in out of the portal. And then they're also looking at a running back by the name of Angel Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. He's from South Dakota State, and he's a real good running back, had over 1,000 yards rushing. And if I can get these guys pulled up on 3, I'll show you a little bit of information on individuals. But Tennessee's working hard, and I know the fans were thinking they were moving too slow, but Tennessee is able to, after they got through with the bowl game and they didn't win, well, not the bowl game, the playoff game, then they had to work on trying to re-recruit most of the players to stay. And then once that was completed, they started looking into the portal at players. So we have to wait and see for the next couple of days what they're going to really do and see if we can get some of these players I just mentioned earlier. But I think they're going to spend a ton of money in the portal. Tennessee is. So we'll see what happens. Tennessee had switching to basketball, Tennessee had a guard, Amari commit to them, and they're in the running for several other players, but I'll talk about that on my next show. They're still number one in the country right now. They face Arkansas tomorrow. Big game. And then, of course, the girls are moving up the ladder. They're still undefeated in basketball, UT's girls. And then that should be about it. Some other news. Former Vol for Life. He's now an all-pro guard. And that's Trey Smith. He made the Pro Bowl for the first time. Should have been in the Pro Bowl last year, but he didn't get the votes. But he made the Pro Bowl. And then, of course, Dante Thornton and Dylan Sampson declared for the NFL draft. And some other big news. And just looking at the NFL draft, looks like Tennessee's going to have about 6, maybe 7 of their senior players and players that's declared for the draft get selected in this year's draft. Now, you still have a lot of things going on. I think Brew McCoy and Omar Norman Lott both have been selected for the Senior Bowl. So they'll have a chance to show what they can do to the pro scouts down there. And then you still have the combine in April. Well, actually, the combine is going to start in February, I believe. And then the draft will be in April, if I'm not mistaken. And then there should be some other people picked for one of the other bowls. I think the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl. So we'll see what happens with that, and I keep tabs on what's going on with that. But so far, Brew McCoy and Omar Norman Lott are the only 2 players from Tennessee who have been selected for the Senior Bowl. The other news is Kisselman was given another year of eligibility. Holden Stays was one of the tight ends that went in the portal, and then the backup quarterback who had come from Florida. I guess it was Central Florida with Coach Heupel. He decided to go in the portal, and then. But anyway, altogether, it's about 15 in the portal, and some of them are beginning to commit to teams. Kalijah Keith, he committed to Appalachian State. Cam Selden committed to Virginia Tech. Caleb Webb commits to Maryland. He was originally committed to Wake Forest, but when the coach retired, he committed to Mike Loxley up in Maryland. And then, of course, you know about Jordan Matthews committing to Vanderbilt. And so they're slowly finding teams So that's good for those guys. But I'm also going to talk a little bit more in depth about the draft and some other shows. And then I'm going to cover Vanderbilt a little bit more on another show, as well as University of Memphis. And with that said, I'm going to come in and I'm going to look at these players here, see if I can get them pulled up, the ones I mentioned earlier. And so we can have an idea of who those players are. And see where On3 actually had them rated. So we can look real quick here. And these are the targets. Okay. Here's the first player. Let's see here. So many of these guys got the same information here. But Malik, but anyway, this is one of the players that Tennessee's targeting. And this is Malik Benson. And he's class of 2021. He's around 6'1", 185 pounds according to On3. He's a slot receiver, but he can play on the outside too. But he's got several other visits lined up according to On3, just looking at it. But this is one of the players that Tennessee is trying to pick up. And let me see, it's another player here. Then the other player is Branch. Let's see. I can put him. It's him and his brother, Zachariah Branch. But Branch, very good receiver. Like 5'10", 175 pounds, can really stretch the field. Can play in the slot also. We have to go over here to the portal and find these guys. Let me go over here to the transfer portal and look for them. Okay, this is the receiver, Zachariah Branch. He's like I said, 5'10", 172 pounds, and he's the target of Tennessee. He was a 5-star coming out of high school. He's rated as a 4-star in the portal. And he reminds you of Jalen Waller, who plays for the Miami Dolphins. So his brother is coming also in a package deal if Tennessee can get him. And we just have to wait and see what happens with him. And then the other guy is this is the running back, Angel Johnson. He's at South Dakota State. Real good running back. Listed at 6 foot, 186 pounds. And he's the target of Tennessee also. Don't know what the situation is with him as far as him coming or signing or coming out for a visit, but Tennessee is targeted him. And then it's another kid by the name of David Augusta. He's a defensive lineman. See if we can give you a look at him too. But David Augusta is a defensive lineman, and just listening to him talk, he's going to be this is David Augusta. He's listed at 6'4", 290 pounds. And he's in the portal, has 1 year eligibility left. And so he's one of Tennessee's targets on the defensive line. He was rated as a 3-star in the portal, but he was a 4-star out of high school. According to most of the recruiting boards that's out there on websites. But these are the other targets. And then, of course, Amari Jefferson, he is he was a wide receiver that Tennessee recruited all the way up to the end, and Alabama beat us out for him. But that was back when Nick Saban was there, and when Nick Saban retired, he came in under the new coach, and I don't think he was getting to play, and so Tennessee was second in that recruiting battle for him. So here's a picture of him, real good receiver. He's rated as a 3-star in the portal, but coming out of high school, he was rated as a 4-star receiver. And he's a very good baseball player too, so he'll be able to fall right on in with that baseball team also. So these are the folks that Tennessee is targeting right now, and we'll just see what happens. It looks like he's got good size. He's 5'11", 6 foot, 200 pounds. He was a real good, he can play that slot receiver, or he can play out there and play the X and the Y, or the Y and the Z receiver position. So he'll be an asset for us if we get him in here, and he'll get to play. And so he'll be someone that we wanted from the beginning. Tennessee did. So with that said, that's going to end this show. And we'll come back with another show probably later on tonight with some more information as soon as we get it. And this is ShallowCross Sports Network, the AA. Happy New Year, and God bless each and every one of you.